We're now joined by Rick Santoro, who is Special Improvement Division Director for the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, otherwise known as CREDA, CRDA. Good to see you, Rick.
Good to see you too, Steve. Thank you for having me.
You got to tell everyone what the CRDA is all about.
All right, CRDA is a very unique authority within the state of New Jersey that invests and puts money back into the community and into the state that's derived from certain taxes that are levied from casinos for gaming and gaming revenue and luxury taxes.
We've been familiar with the CRDA for many years, and your chairperson, Mo Butler, we've known for a long time. So in the process, we heard about a whole range of work going on around the issue of food insecurity. Talk specifically about food insecurity exacerbated by COVID and the work that your team is doing together with the folks at the Community Food Bank of New Jersey.
Yes, sir. Starting in May of 2020, the CRDA board allocated about $1 million to assist with food insecurity here in the Atlantic City area. We come to realize very early on that our hospitality workers, Atlantic City residents and casino workers were heavily affected because most of them were furloughed and put out of work when the pandemic hit. So many of these people, they're hardworking blue-collar people. It's a blue-collar town. They were not equipped to be out of work for such long periods of time and had immediately been into the food insecure categories. So the board of directors ponied up money and partnered with area labor unions, casinos, and casino owners themselves to allocate resources. Once the resources were allocated, my division, the Special Improvement Division, was tasked with providing the logistics to the Community Food Bank to deliver food to these masses of people. We were able to use the Bakerfield, a deactivated airport within Atlantic City.
Yeah, tell everyone what Bakerfield is. It's pretty well known, but not everyone knows what it is.
Yes, sir. Bakerfield is a deactivated commercial airport. It has 3 large runways, taxiways, and a roadway system around it. It's right at the entrance of Atlantic City, and years ago it had been deactivated. It was mainly an airport for small planes and helicopters, but it had been deactivated. So that was sitting there, and the challenge was, how can we get so many people, thousands of people through? This initiative actually provided food for 110,000 people came through these food drives over this time period.
Oh, how long a period of time?
It was about 11 months. We did 17 food drives. We unloaded 5 tractor trailers of food a day. Inside of Bakerfield, we were able to put 200 cars in inside the bowl before we started distributing food. Every day when we showed up at 6 in the morning, there was already people waiting for us at the gates. 5 to 7 tractor trailers would come. Our manpower used forklifts and front-end loaders to unload the food with the food bank under the food bank direction, and we brought these recipients into the airport to start to stage them. 100 volunteers showed up every day from different unions.
Yeah, were they? Excuse me, primarily union members?
They were the recipients. Well, if you're talking about recipients,
the volunteers.
The volunteers were predominantly union members that were furloughed. These men and women that showed up to load the food in other people's vehicles, they were among the food insecure too. Bartenders, waitresses, maids, housekeepers, highly skilled electricians, carpenters, security guards. They were put out of work and they couldn't work because the casinos were closed. So they came every single time, rain or shine. We operated all the way from over 100-degree heat index down to 13 degrees. The volunteers, we stacked the food up in lanes. We brought the cars forward, and these volunteers loaded food from the pallets into the vehicles.
First of all, it's so extraordinarily impressive that people who are struggling, who've been furloughed, who are facing economic challenges, and their families struggling, decided that they would help others. In and of itself, it's not only inspiring, but gives us reason to be hopeful. But fast forward, which you can't, for the people we're talking about, they don't fast forward. Where would you describe and how would you describe the condition of Atlantic City as we speak? We also, as we're taping today, we actually interviewed Mayor Marty Small and asked some of the same questions. But your perspective, Rick, on how Atlantic City is doing, particularly the people you're talking about who face such serious challenges, please.
Yes, Steve. Atlantic City's back. We are exploding with business and exploding with customers. There's events, major events, concerts, beach concerts, air show, fishing tournament. The men and women that were furloughed are back to work, and many others have been recruited to come in to handle this great surge of customers. So we're blessed that Atlantic City is back now, and there's this pent-up demand for people. Even though the pandemic is still with us, there's this pent-up demand for people to party and let their hair down and come down and enjoy themselves. So the men and women from our community are the blue-collar staff that deliver those services. So they're back at work.
Let me ask you something, Rick, in the time we have left. This experience, dealing with people, helping people, working with people around the issue of quote unquote food insecurity. How do you view not just the issue of food insecurity, but those who are struggling with it differently?
You know, it brings tears to my eyes to know that we have this in our country, that people can struggle and be hungry. Again, our town is a blue-collar, hardworking town. There's so many people behind the scenes that live day to day and week to week, multiple jobs, part-time jobs. And, you know, so many, it was so heart-wrenching to see them struggling. One instance I could share that just broke my heart.
Got a few seconds left. I'm so sorry, Rick. Got a few seconds left. Go ahead. Share.
I realized the pain that people suffered, and also the embarrassment and the shame that they felt to be in those lines to receive food. So I'm proud to have been able to help and deliver this initiative, and it continues today. We still provide food throughout the community in micro food donations, but it's a real problem here, and it really saddened me that many families were struggled, and I don't know if all of them were able to survive or even stay around here after that happened, but we're back, and we were fortunate to help.
Hey, Rick, I apologize for cutting you off. There are these hard time limits, but you represented your organization well in this interview, and more importantly, told the story of people who are struggling and those who chose to be helpful to all those folks in Atlantic City. We wish you and the folks down in Atlantic City all the best. Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank you, and thank you for shedding light on this. We thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm Steve Adubato. That's Rick Santoro. We'll see you next time.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Kane University, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Valley Bank, Atlantic Health System, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, Operating Engineers, Local 825, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, and by NJM Insurance Group. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the men and women who teach our children, the public sector employees who maintain our infrastructure, the workers who craft our manufactured goods, and New Jersey's next generation of leaders, the people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.